At Ewood Park, a rapturous welcome for the champions as Blackburn's defence of their first title in 81 years began at home to Queen's Park Rangers. Ray Harford is at the helm this season, but rest assured he'll have plenty of advice from his predecessor Kenny Dalglish, now of course the club's director of football. Alan Shearer will again spearhead Rovers' challenge, and his adoring fans didn't have too long to wait for his first goal of the new season. Only 6 minutes played when David Bardsley was adjudged by referee Alan Wilkie to have fouled the England striker. It looked to be a harsh decision, but Shearer offered Rangers no sympathy in comfortably adding to last season's 34-goal league tally. Rovers ahead, and they stayed mainly on top. Indeed, they should have scored more. This in the second half was Chris Sutton with a shot that clipped the bar after a fine run by Kevin Gallagher. But then, with 17 minutes remaining, Blackburn was suddenly down to 10 men. Goalkeeper Tim Flowers, who'd had relatively little to do, rushed out hastily to confront Trevor Sinclair. An action which not only injured the goalkeeper, but also warranted his dismissal by referee Wilkie. The sending off tarnished Rovers' day. In the end, though, they were just relieved to have won. At £3.5 million, Savo Milosevic from Partizan Belgrade is the most expensive of Aston Villa's summer recruits. They have high hopes, too, though, of Mark Draper, signed for slightly less from Leicester City. This after Manchester United and other clubs have pursued him as well. And of their other new man, Gareth Southgate, a utility player signed from Crystal Palace. It was one of Brian Little's signings from last season, though, who stunned Manchester United early on. Ian Taylor had scored only once in his previous 24 outings for the club. Now he was on hand to open the scoring from a Gary Charles cross. With a defeated side missing many familiar names, United was struggling, and they went further behind on 27. A subtle touch from Milosevic, a chilling finish from Mark Draper. Worse was soon to follow for a United team in disarray as they conceded 3 goals for the first time in a Premier League match since last September. Goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel bringing down Milosevic for a penalty. Dwight York's kick was decisive, and United were in serious trouble. At least their second half display was much improved, but they found Mark Bosnich in superb form in the Villa goal. This was the pick of his saves, a marvellous reaction stop from Roy Keane's header. At last 6 minutes from time, there was some consolation for United, but a deflected goal from substitute David Beckham was too late to prevent a most encouraging start for Aston Villa. This, of course, a side that last season flirted with relegation. The exciting capture of French star David Ginola from Paris Saint-Germain is one reason why many good judges are tipping Newcastle United for the championship this season. The arrival of a prolific goalscorer too in England striker Les Ferdinand from Queen's Park Rangers is another. Along with Kevin Keegan's other major signing from the summer, goalkeeper Shaka Hislop, whose outstanding form led Reading into last season's First Division playoff final. Coventry had a new man in their side too, John Solarco from Crystal Palace, who ironically almost joined Newcastle. After surviving an early scare or two, Newcastle was soon into their stride and ahead on 7 minutes. Robert Lee set up by the cross from Keith Gillespie. It was a thrilling match with Coventry certainly playing their part. Anxious home fans were kept on the edge of their seats until 8 minutes from time, when Newcastle struck again. Coventry's resistance broken when Peter Beardsley was tripped for a penalty. Beardsley's successful kick was Newcastle's reward for some exhilarating football. And within a minute, it was 3. Les Ferdinand set clear by Lee to round off his team's highly impressive start. A goal for Ferdinand on his debut. Newcastle the winners by 3 goals to 0. At £8.5 million, Liverpool's new striker Stan Collymore is Britain's most expensive player. At that price, you can't really leave him out. Robbie Fowler, last season's top scorer, was the man to make way for him, having to settle this time for a substitute's role. Sheffield Wednesday, meantime, are hoping the arrival of David Peat will provide an uplift in their fortunes. He's the new manager in place of Trevor Francis. Liverpool are strongly fancied as championship contenders, but they found Wednesday in resilient mood. Long-range efforts like this one from Jamie Redknapp, the best they could muster in the first half. Collymore, in truth, had been fairly anonymous, but any fears that the huge fee would become a millstone around his neck were dispelled just after the hour. A wonder goal that proved to be the winner, and greeted by the new man with understandable euphoria. The emotion of it all was almost too much for Collymore. He admitted later he was close to tears at scoring such a goal on his debut. The fee is colossal, but if he carries on in this fashion, you won't find Liverpool complaining. Dave Merrington isn't perhaps too well known outside of Southampton, but he's the man in charge at the Dell now, after Alan Ball's departure to Manchester City. His hopes of an opening day success were soon in jeopardy as Nottingham Forest quickly revealed there's life after Stan Collymore. Only 8 minutes in, Colin Cooper, capped by England during the summer, gave his team the lead from a stunning free kick. As long as Southampton retain the services of Matt Le Tissier, though, they'll always have a chance in any game. His first contribution in this one was to win a rather dubious penalty from Steve Chettle's challenge. Le Tissier took the kick himself to make it 1-1. At 9 minutes from half-time, the home side were in trouble again. Ian Woan restoring Forest's lead with another excellent goal. Then it was 3-1. Dutchman Brian Roy, the scorer this time, after good work from one of the newcomers, Kevin Campbell, as well as Woan. Southampton showed plenty of endeavour, though, and on the hour made it 3-2, thanks to another Le Tissier penalty. This one given for Lars Bohinian's challenge on him. Le Tissier is one of the Premier League's most accomplished penalty takers. No chance again for Mark Crossley. That's 36 successful kicks out of 37. But Forest regained their 2-goal cushion with another goal from Roy. Campbell and Woan involved again. Roy already looks to be relishing the extra responsibility he's carrying in the absence of Collymore. Still, Southampton, to their credit, persevered, and Le Tissier completed his hat-trick with a typically well-taken free kick. Too late to save the game, though. Forest off to a winning start by 4 goals to 3. Tony Yeboah's goals helped prompt Leeds surge into Europe last season. Now they're hoping he can help inspire a title challenge. West Ham, in contrast, are being widely forecast as relegation candidates, but had an early answer to such pessimism. A goal after only 5 minutes from young Danny Williamson. Leeds, though, were a constant threat, and their enterprise was rewarded early in the second half. A fierce header by Yeboah from Gary Kelly's centre. The Ghanaian international certainly hadn't finished either, and less than 10 minutes later, he pounced again for what proved to be the match winner. 13 goals in 16 games last season, the former Eintracht Frankfurt striker is surely destined for another highly profitable campaign. I've been a solid manager, now I'm aiming to be a highly successful one. That was Alan Ball's message to Manchester City fans in taking over the manager's chair at Main Road. Among his signings, German international Eike Immel. He's been bought to help solve a goalkeeping crisis. Hoping to spoil his day was Tottenham's major summer signing, Chris Armstrong from Crystal Palace. He's wearing a headband to protect an injury sustained in a friendly against Newcastle. The Spurs have been hit by many injuries, as well as the loss of Jurgen Klinsmann and Nick Barmby, but they played confidently early on to earn a goal on 33 minutes from Teddy Sheringham, the England striker in the right place to steer it across from substitute Kevin Scott. But City fought back to equalise early in the second half. German striker Uwe Rosler, who totaled 22 goals last season, heading in across from Steve Lomas to the embarrassment of Spurs goalkeeper Ian Walker. A point apiece, 1-1 it finished at Main Road. You can normally rely on Wimbledon to be unconventional. This season, most of the crazy gang, as they're known, have opted for shaven heads. They soon had newly promoted Bolton reeling at Selhurst Park. A goal after only 4 minutes, the fastest of the season, scored by Efan Ikoku. Wimbledon doubled their lead midway through the first half. A bemused Bolton defence guilty of ball watching as Robbie Earle nipped in to score past goalkeeper Keith Brannigan. Bolton revealed admirable qualities in fighting back in last season's First Division playoff final, and they showed similar spirit this time, pulling a goal back first just a few minutes later. Their chance coming after a penalty was awarded for this challenge by Alan Kimball on Mark Patterson, just inside the area. Alan Thompson, tipped as a likely star for Bolton this season, scored to make it 2-1. 6 minutes from half-time, Bolton were level. From Mark Patterson's pass, Dutchman Fabian de Freitas, the team's hero in that playoff final, struck a thunderous equaliser. This despite the efforts of newcomer Paul Heald, preferred in goal to Hans Sagers. It was Wimbledon, though, who eventually claimed a decisive third goal 10 minutes into the second half. Dean Holdsworth heading in Kimball's corner. For the players who made the main transfer headlines of the summer, it was an encouraging start too. Ruud Gullit and Mark Hughes were threatening for Chelsea at home to Everton. And while Dennis Bergkamp, the Dutch international, couldn't quite manage a goal on his Arsenal debut, well, Les Ferdinand produced a stunner for Newcastle. And of course, the pick of them all, Stan Collimore's awesome strike to crown his first appearance for Liverpool as Britain's most expensive player. More goals like this, and Liverpool will feel he's worth every penny of that $8.5 million. Hoping will spin.